Testing, testing.
David, you good? All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to call this meeting to order. Today is June 25th, 2026. Time is 9 o'clock. All board members are present and accounted for. Mr. Gage is on his way. If everybody can stand for the invocation and the pledge. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask your continued blessings over Green Valley. Please take care of our employees, our customers, and ratepayers. And please give this board the wisdom and knowledge they need to make this company great. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we do have a public comment. So I'm not gonna read the whole thing. Mr. Sherman, I believe you have a public comment.
Yes, I have a public comment that has absolutely nothing to do with this meeting, but it's the most important thing I'm going to do today. It is my daughter's 9th birthday this morning, and I got a photo with her before I left the house this morning, and I am insisting that Mr. David put this up here for everyone to see, and I'm going to show her the recording later today, and she's going to be very embarrassed. I'm going to tell her how many people are in the audience and that y'all all want to wish her a happy birthday. So happy birthday, Hannah. I love you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to item D, consent agenda. All items listed below are to be considered routine, non-controversial by the board and will be approved by one motion. There will be no discussion of these items unless the board members so request, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in action taken as necessary as part of the order of business. We have items D1 through D5. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns? Nope. With that, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve consent agenda items D1 through D5.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Sherman, a second by Mr. Robertson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to item E. Here are updates on the following items from GVSUD General Manager, Staff, and Committee Chairs. E1, Employee Recognition. Mr. Travis.
Good morning, everybody. Phil is out right now for another matter, so you get me for a little bit longer today. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I am happy to do Phil's part on the employee recognition. I always think this is a pretty cool thing that Phil does with the coins and recognizing these guys for their hard work and what they're doing is something neat. And Phil always talks about it, but licenses are a big deal. Professionalism is a big deal to us, and we have 5 recognitions for passing tests and getting certifications this month, which is pretty awesome. The first 3 are D license, and we've got 1 C and an A, and so that's pretty impressive, and it speaks volumes to what the guys in the back are doing to make themselves better every day. And so the first employee I'd like to recognize is Jonah. Jonah got his D license in water this month. And so, Jonah, how long have you been with us? Under a year? Okay. So, right here is a envelope and a coin for Mr. Gage. And just congratulations, man. I appreciate your hard work. Next, we've got on our wastewater team, we've got Dalton. Dalton got his D license in wastewater. So if you want to come on up. How long have you been with us?
Going on 5 months.
5 months? Yeah, man, that's awesome. Congratulations. Here's your letter and your coin.
Thank you, sir.
Great work, man. Next, we got Asias with his D license in water from our meter department. Asias is not. He's out working probably. We got meters to set, I guess. So
Yeah.
we'll get that one to him. Next is one of our longer tenured employees. Brandon with our water department got his C license this month. So, congratulations, sir. Thank you. And then the last one, the D's and C's are great when you start off and going through. That's, an awesome accomplishment. But I know that an A license in water or wastewater is a huge achievement. And I know this individual's been working very hard at it. We give him a hard time a lot, but we push him pretty hard, and he pushes himself. RJ, if you want to come up here and get your coin and letter for your A water license. So, guys, if you want to join us up here, we can take a group picture with the rest of the board.
All right, good. We'll find a spot.
Yeah. Well, we used to tell the guys, stand up. Oh, you are.
Awesome job, guys. Thank you very much for your efforts on that.
Get some facts before you work. That's a lot of stuff we're gonna need if y'all don't.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're gonna shuffle it up a little bit. We're gonna go to, instead of E2, we're gonna pause that one. We're gonna jump down to the ARWA presentation, item G. Graham Moore, if you wanna, David, can you pull up his information?
Good morning, Board. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. My name is Graham Moore with the Alliance Regional Water Authority. I believe I've got a presentation I'm sure is going to get pulled up here shortly. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, just make sure that mic is close, just so the recording picks it up.
Thank you. Sure. That's great to see so many licensed operators. I mean, it's as y'all well know, it's difficult to find good quality people that are willing to go through that training and do that. And as our region continues to grow, that's getting to be more and more difficult. So kudos to y'all for finding those people, developing them.
Homegrown.
That's great to see.
Yes, sir.
We've been talking with other cities that have been looking to get into high schools and trying to teach kids about the pathways for water, wastewater, right, as good opportunities to grow and learn and not necessarily have to go to college, although there is that opportunity too with it, right? And so I think that's something we're going to need a lot more of, good quality operators as things get more complex moving forward.
Second that.
How are you looking, David?
There we are.
Awesome.
Got it. Okay, well, again, Graham Moore, Executive Director of Alliance Regional Water Authority. It's good to see you again. I'm sure y'all aren't very excited about seeing me, but I'm always happy to come here and give you updates. I did want to talk about kind of current project where we're at, and then some next steps and updates that are ongoing. So if we can go to the next slide, please. This is a reminder of our overall system for delivery of water. We've got our treatment plant and well field on the far eastern end of Caldwell County. We've got pipelines that about 85 miles in total of pipelines that go to San Marcos on the west, goes up to Buda, and then comes down to the Kenya Regional Water Authority Lake Dunlap Water Treatment Plant at this point in time. Go to the next slide. Just a reminder, I think I mentioned this when I was here last year, in that September of last year, we started delivering water to all the sponsors. Now, Green Valley has leased its water rights to Kyle, and so Kyle is taking use of that water now. We deliver that to their FM 1626 pump station. We've been working on what we call the 1C, 1D program, otherwise known as the Carrizo Expansion Program. It's been in design since late 2024, and we've been updating that design to reflect the need for permanent equipment to resolve elevated iron levels we've had in the raw water. Last year, we contracted with Haskell Company to serve as our construction manager at risk to deliver the Carrizo Expansion Program, except for the well drilling itself, and I'll go through that more in just a minute. We chose a CMAR because we felt like it was going to allow us to move forward a little bit more quickly into construction, and also get us more insight into what contractors felt pricing would be, not just what the design engineers felt pricing would be earlier in the project. So go to the next slide then. This kind of outlines the various projects. We've got several different packages, and this I know gets a little confusing, but I want to try and walk through this a little bit. So we've basically got 5 different packages under the CMARS control umbrella. That's the basic water treatment plant expansion, everything we need to produce more water and get it out. And then we added a clarification package. Again, that's to deal with the elevated iron levels and to get permanent equipment in place so we no longer have to have rental units on the plant site. That's all at the water treatment plant. Then we've got an expansion at our booster pump station in Maxwell. It's adding another 5 million gallon ground storage tank and 3 new pumps, which were originally planned for. All that infrastructure was planned to be added when we expanded. So that's that main component. And then the raw water infrastructure, which will take the pipelines, well sites, and bring that water to the water treatment plant. And then finally, we've got back at the water treatment plant, a solids handling package. That is what's dealing with the residuals that come out of the treatment process. And we've been investigating different ways to deal with that. We just got some direction from our technical committee earlier this month in order to move forward with the use of lagoons for that system. And then finally, I noted at the bottom, it's what I call the ARWA project, is the well drilling. So for the actual driller to go out there, drill the wells, put the casing in, we're going to contract directly with that. It's a real specialty. There's only probably a dozen or so drillers in the state that do this type of work. We didn't feel like the CMAR added any benefits to that or any coordination benefits associated with that, and so we kept that project separate from the CMAR package. If we go to the next slide, part of the CMAR process is they are to give us guaranteed maximum price, or GMP, for the various phases as we move along. And so I wanted to show you kind of how we've grouped these. Again, the top two at the water treatment plant are in one GMP, GMP1. The next two are in GMP2, and then the solids handling will be in GMP3. Part of the reasons we split this up this way is that GBRA is participating in the expansion at the water treatment plant. So in GMPs 1 and 3, they participate based on their pro rata share of the capacity in that. For the booster pump station expansion and raw water infrastructure, they do not participate in that. That's an alliance-only cost. They don't have any customers that are participating in that system, and so they don't participate in that portion. So we wanted to, from a bookkeeping perspective, keep those separate. It's easier for us to track when we're splitting out our shares with GBRA and ourselves and controlling it that way. So if we go to the next slide then, just kind of talk a little bit about our schedule as we move forward here to finalizing some GMPs and bringing those forward. GMP 1 and 2, we've been actively working on these for some time now. We held the bid opening for those that Haskell did. Our CMAR controlled all that effort. They opened last Thursday, received bids. They broke it up into about 50 to 60 different packages, just a concrete package, a dirt work package, all sorts of little sub packages, and put it out and got bids for those. And they're currently going through those and trying to, what they call bid leveling, making sure that everybody's got the right scope and assumptions in that, and that if there's any gaps, identifying those and trying to understand any scopes that don't align, so we can all take a look at that. They're going to finish that effort and come back and present that to our technical committee on July 21st. So just about a month from now, we'll be sitting down with the technical committee and reviewing that information. Our goal is to take that then, a recommendation to our board in early August. We learned yesterday at our board meeting this date may move a day or two, but it's somewhere in that early first few days in August. We will take that to our board. And based on their current plan, the substantial completion for the water treatment plant expansion component is October of 2028, so about a 2-year construction window. GMP3 is lagging behind that a little bit. Again, GMP3 is the solids that come off the plant. We provided direction to the design engineer on June 10th as to which direction to proceed on that. Our goal is to have the plans at a stage where the CMAR can release those for bidding in early October, and then have that presentation and consideration by our board in early December before the end of the year. Construction substantial completion is to be determined. We have not seen a formal schedule, but anecdotally, the CMAR has told us they believe they can still stick within the same schedule as GMP 1 and 2. So do not anticipate that would lag beyond that based on the lagoons that were selected to move forward. Now let's talk about some of the cost associated with this. If we go to the next slide, this kind of shows all of our costs. And these are not just construction costs. These are total program costs. So this has all the engineering in it. It has all of the construction management and inspection and materials testing and everything it takes to complete the entirety of the project. Everything included. And so again, we've got the 6 different projects listed there, and then I've noted out to the right which ones are part of GMP1, which ones are part of GMP2 and GMP3. You'll note by the columns, there's a total there in the middle, and then the ARWA share. Some of those are, again, split between us and GBRA. That's why those numbers aren't the same. In some cases, like the well drilling, the booster pump station, and the raw water, it's alliance only cost, and so those match those 2 columns. And so based on the initial costs we had from our CMAR, and this is dating back to earlier this late winter, early springtime, we put this table together. And so they were coming up with a total cost of about $304 million for all of these projects. ARWA share is a little more than $177 million. The current funding we already had in hand based on prior issuances, et cetera, was just under $121 million. So that left a deficit of $56 million based on that initial estimate. We go to the next slide. We identified that. And so while we were still working through the bidding and trying to get firmer numbers, the SWIFT program opened up its opportunity for us to submit for an application. Just as a reminder, that's through the Texas Water Development Board. It offers low-cost funding opportunities. We borrowed the state's credit with a subsidy below that. And so we really can't find any cheaper financing on the market than what this program offers. At that time, based on input from our board, we submitted an application for $75 million. Now, the previous slide, I told you that the deficit looked to be $56 million. The reason we asked for more is that you cannot increase that application at any point in time. You can only decrease it. And so just out of an abundance of caution, we wanted to start a little high with the intent that once we get in the final bids and the GMP numbers, we can reduce that number down to what we actually need and no more. And so we intentionally shot high with the intent to bring that down. That being said, this shows the breakout between each of our sponsors, including Green Valley share, if that full $75 million were to be sought. Again, proportionally, our intent is to reduce that to what's actually needed. We can reduce that with the Water Development Board by mid-August timeframe without having any repercussions. And so that's part of our goal with this bidding process has been to get to that point where we could firm up our actual construction cost and our total project numbers, and then get to a better idea of how much additional funding we actually need and move forward with that. And then finally, my last slide, and then I'll be happy to go back and take any questions. It's just kind of overall next steps. We're in the process of number one, of finalizing the GMP 1 and 2, and then also getting a better update on the estimate for the cost for the solids portion, which will become GMP 3. And then we intend to take that to our board for consideration in early August. Shortly thereafter, basically immediately thereafter, we will update our SWIFT funding request based on the results of what we get out of that GMP process. And so, again, our intent would be to reduce that request down to what's necessary. And then, like we've done in the past, it does require each of our entities to approve any SWIFT issuances. So we would be coming back before you and each of the boards, including Keener Regional, all of our cities, and then ultimately our board for consideration of this additional funding in October. And assuming that was to be successful, we would close on those funds in November. So I put a lot of numbers out there and a little bit of jargon too. I apologize for that. It seems to be the nature of the business, but I'm happy to go back and take any questions that you have or address any issues, concerns that you have.
All right. I believe some of the board members had some questions. Who wants to go first? I'll pick on you, James. Go ahead. That's okay.
Would the board mind if I
Go
make
ahead,
a
Mr.
quick
Gates.
comment? Sure. Could you go back on one slide? I'm just thinking in terms of timing. So, and just kind of give the board some context, right? So the finalizing GMP 1 and GMP 2. So for those two actions to take place, there's enough funding on hand already at R1 to make that decision, right? I mean,
That's our anticipation.
that's what I've understood it to be. So what's going to happen is, in order to get water and get the plant functioning, you're going to need GMP 1, 2, and 3. So what I'm saying to the board is, if you do 1 and 2, and we don't have the funding yet for 3, although we don't ask SWIFT for funding until October, the real decision is probably in August, right? Because once we commit to GMP 1 and 2, you're essentially committing to taking out the funding, because when you take out the funding, then you're committed to the entire project. 1 and 2 doesn't get it for you. And I think that's, that's a good distinction to understand in terms of timing. Although we're asking for board concurrence from the many entities in October. We're really asking for direction in August when the ARWA board takes action on GMP 1 and 2. Is that kind of accurate in terms of timing?
Well, I think that GMP3, we have multiple options. If we choose to say, no, we're not satisfied with the pricing that we get on GMP3 from the contractor, we can not utilize the CMAR for GMP3 and go out and bid that separately. So we're not locked into doing it as a change order as you would normally under construction contract with that contractor. So we do have some other, there are some other avenues to pursue if that was the case.
Yeah, I'm just trying to highlight, I mean, I'm not saying in any way that the funding's not going to get improved. I'm just saying, if you look at the schedule of things, your number of options become limited over time as you make previous decisions. That's kind of my point.
And-
You do still have options, not disputing that, yeah.
And I'll generally, what Graham is saying is correct. We can go with a different contractor. What Phil is saying is correct. I agree that I think really the August 5th, or about August 5th, I saw a scheduling 4th, 5th, or 6th. We'll schedule a special, but in our next meeting, I'm going to insist on this board giving me some direction on how I vote to spend this much money. We will be making our decision next month. At our meeting yesterday, I very specifically asked if we go forward with GMP 1 and 2, which we have enough funding on hand to do. And I think I stated, if for any reason the SWIFT funding doesn't come through, don't have funding for that third GMP, will the plant and this program produce more water? Will it work? And the answer is no. We absolutely have to do the solids handling work and drill the wells that would be included in the GMP3. Whether it's with Haskell and the CMAR group or whether we go out on our own, open just a traditional bid process for that GMP3 to be determined. But that work must be done for this program to produce. So in my mind, yes, we will be making our decision next month whether we're in and we go all the way or if we try to do something different. I will say on this slide, we also, one of the things that I consistently in the technical committee and in the full board meetings ask is what is the schedule of when we will receive the GMP3 pricing? And late November is the goal. I expect that to stretch a little bit. It might even stretch into January, worst case. If we go ahead and if we have our funding deadline in October, we were asking for 75, worst case. I really don't know that we will have the GMP3 number to reduce that 75. So I would anticipate this board expect, us to be committing to that additional 7.9 million that was listed as our share of the full 75. So I'm going to tell y'all to consider the maximum number of additional costs that we're seeing up here. I don't think we'll have the GMP3 price to say, hey, maybe we only need 56 million total, whatever. Maybe we just don't borrow as much. I don't know the answer to that question, but I'm going to, tell y'all to consider we're going to be spending another 7.9 million.
So the 75 million versus the funding deficit of 56 million, that's just a guess right now until we get the factual
So
numbers.
the 56 is the estimates from the CMAR
Right.
with, what are we working on, like a 30% set
Yeah,
at this point?
each package was a little bit different. Some were as low as 30%, some were at about 90%. So it's a mixture
We're
between
adding
all those.
19 more million for padding for inflation and costs and what.
Yeah, again, it was just a matter of, it's a little bit of a quirk with the SWIFT programming is you can't go back and ask for more money
Right,
with your initial
it's either
application.
this is your ceiling.
So
and-
we intentionally shot very high so that we knew we could bring it down. We could never raise it.
Right. So initial question is, if you don't use it all, what do you do with the remaining?
Well, so you have to take down all of it. And so then it would be left over for another phase of the project or something else if we were to take down significantly more than we were to need. That's why my intent is we'll have firm numbers for GMP 1 and 2. By your next board meeting too, we'll have an updated estimate from the CMAR for GMP 3. Our feeling is that because we have firm commitments on GMP 1 and 2, that'll help us market test how good our CMAR estimates are and give us a better feel on that GMP 3 as well, so we can better estimate what our total actual deficit is to match our funding to that actual deficit. So I'm fully intending we're going to lower that from 75 million. Though I can't tell you what number that is yet.
Right, but
And,
you're
and
giving us the high side.
I'll share with the board, y'all know me, y'all know my personality. I have been after Graham and Pape Dawson and Kimley Horn, the designers. I'm asking them out loud, difficult questions that maybe aren't, conveyed clearly. I'm stating them very clearly. The other members of the other sponsors of the program are hearing, what I'm saying. Some of them don't say anything. Some of them agree with me. Some of them disagree, but I'm asking them the questions. We hosted a workshop here in this room a couple weeks ago.
A week ago, yeah.
All got together again, talked about the hard questions. I got some answers that were good. We have a full 8-hour, what day is that, on the 21st or
21st.
something like that, 2 days before our July meeting, where I've already told everybody at the day job, hey, I can't make it in today. I've got to go down to Pape Dawson's office and sit for 8 hours.
I know the GMP concept. I'm very familiar with it, but my understanding is if you guys aren't using it all, the savings and all that stuff, I know you're going to use to other areas. What other areas are going to be coming up in the future that this money would be applied to?
Well, if we were to issue significantly more than we needed, we are looking at additional supplies into the future for additional groundwater resources, that type of thing. So that it would take action by our board and concurrence from the Water Development Board. But we would look to, if we had significant funds left over, to apply that potentially to future projects like that. We don't, our systems do enough. We haven't identified anything where we feel like, boy, we really need to upgrade X, Y, Z. We don't have any projects like that. It would be more towards future resources that we would look to develop.
If this loan does not get approved, that means that looking at the 2026 SWIFT funding application and the approximate amounts assigned to everybody, that means that those entities, if you can go one slide forward, we can all be on the same slide forward. Yeah. Okay. So if we do not get the funding, which is a possibility, everybody on this list is going to be responsible for those amounts. Is that a correct statement?
Yes.
Okay. So what happens if they don't have the money to pay for it, or they're unwilling to?
We are currently investigating that, right? If we come to a point where we've got a situation where one entity says, no, we don't want to participate in the funding, and others say we do, we have a water supply contract between the top 4 entities there and ourselves. And then in turn, CRWA has a contract with each of the special utility districts below that. So we're a little bit removed, right? And so we're having our bond counsel look through those contracts and give us an opinion as to what that would mean if that were to occur.
So let's just say one of those on there, and I'll just use Green Valley as an example so Shan doesn't get mad at me. Let's just say that Green Valley just decides, yo, we would absolutely love to do this. We just don't have $8 million. So we can't. Doesn't that mean that the other entities are going to have to pick up this slack?
It means we would have to find some arrangement.
So
right?
yes, the other entities will have to pick up the slack.
But it depends on what that could look like in all respects, right? There's water to be traded. You've already worked a deal right now where you've leased some water rights. We have a lot of demand in the area for water, and we have a few people that maybe don't need the water so much immediately who do need it longer term. So I would hope as a group, we would come together and find a way to balance the economics of it for one entity with the water need on the other and make that work. That would be my first.
I can hope in one hand, and we know what I can do in another hand. So that's what, if we don't get the SWIFT, and you're asking this board to make an approval before the SWIFT application is even put in, we have to make an approval for a minimum of 8 million. And that's assuming that everybody on this list is going to pay their full share and not have a problem with it. And quite honestly, looking at this list, well, Shan will yell at me. So I can see that there is a foreseeable problem that maybe someone doesn't have the money to put up. And then we're going to be coming in, I don't know, December or January, back to this board and say, hey, you know, that 8 million, we need another 4. Because traditionally, with every single project that has ever come across this board, that has happened in every single situation. There has never been a situation in which we're like, oh, look at the extra money we have today. So let's just be realistic about this. If we're going to have a special meeting, probably in August, to go ahead and approve this, we're hoping to get some funding that we may or may not get.
Well, let me clarify on the funding, because we have been down this road before. And so we submitted our initial application in February. We got approved to move forward with a more detailed financial application. The Water Development Board is set to take action in late to July to formally say that the funding is yours if you want to take it. And so this is a process we've been through since 2015. We've made it this far in the process. We've never been pulled back. In this case, this year, for the first time ever, the SWIFT program limited who could participate. And we were lucky to be one of those that were above the line and were asked to participate. So given our history, I'm not at all concerned that that the Water Development Board will not extend us the opportunity to take advantage of the SWIFT. Now, that doesn't mean that some of these entities might not have concerns, present board included, and say, we don't want to move forward with that. That is a possibility, but I am not concerned in the least, based on our history with the Water Development Board and the SWIFT program, that they will extend us the offer to get the funding.
And James, I'm gonna make one minor correction. Green Valley we're gonna have our meeting, the ARWA special meeting, workshop, I guess we'll call it, not a special meeting, a workshop, at the Pape Dawson's office to review the numbers on the 21st. We have our normal meeting on the 23rd. Phil and Graham have already coordinated that we were not gonna call a special meeting ahead of a special ARWA meeting early August to discuss thumbs up, thumbs down on this CMAR.
So
I
on
think
the,
we're actually canceling our July meeting,
Yes,
is that
that's
correct?
correct.
And just pushing it back a couple weeks.
so on the 6 entities that are currently up there, what commitments have you gotten so far? As far as like, has San Marcos, Kyle, Buda, has everybody signed off on saying they're going to move forward with their portions?
So we have not taken anything in terms of a resolution or anything to any of them to
Okay.
ask for their
Okay.
approval. They've
So
they've
then-
been receiving
Right.
the
they've-
same briefings dating
same
back to
updates, but
January, and it's
no
been,
one on your end has indicated that they're not going to go through on their portion.
nobody has said they are not, but there's concerns, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that nobody's worried about it. Everybody's worried about their water rates and the impacts to their customers. It's a concern across the region. But nobody has told me at this point that no chance we are moving forward with this.
And I will say, I think we need to bump up the urgency on getting an opinion. Do you have Mike Gershon working on it? or who'd
It's
you say?
actually our bond counsel, McCall,
Okay.
Parkhurst, and Norton.
I think we need to know,
You
before.
will have that before.
I make the assumption that San Marcos, Kyle, Buda, and the other two SUDs are going to take final numbers to their boards. I think they should have
Yes.
that information when they have that, and I know we will want to have that on the 23rd of July when we have our special meeting.
Right.
Our regular meeting, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Our
I
regular-
would think a MOU or LOI of some kind, just to at least give everybody else a sense of like, hey, everybody's in line with it, and these are the people who aren't committed yet all the way, so that we can understand what the financial impact would be if they did not go through on their end. I don't know if that's allowed or if that could be considered, but the full communication and transparency so that everybody's on the same page.
And
with what
John,
they
I
need to-
also think, in our meetings, in our technical committee meetings, in our workshops, in our full board, ARWA board meetings, some of the representatives, like me, are very vocal about being in favor of it. A couple of them have very clearly said, overage, we get it, we gotta have the water. I mean, technically, y'all have put me on this
Yeah.
board to make a decision. Those people that vote can make the decision, but the funding still has to be agreed to by the full council or board.
Right.
So until that happens, we don't know for sure that
And,
everybody's
and that's
in.
where I would want their position is financially, can they accommodate their portion? And if that's a, yes, we can, okay, cool, that gets our worry down a little bit more. Well, we're not jumping into a contract that we can't get out of, and now we're having to eat everybody else's portion that can't do it. So that goes back to the transparency part.
And Graham, I don't know that you'll be able to get a formal document
Yeah.
of some flavor, but
Something
know,
along the lines
you-
that,
you-
yes, we're
you
pressing
understand
forward.
what
I do
we're
generally, I
looking
don't think
for.
it would be a
No.
formal MOU or something along those lines, but we could,
Yeah.
we could get something that shows that they are, their budgetary process, planning
Yeah,
for
that
this
they're,
and other items.
that we're not
that
gonna get
they're-
stuck with their portion.
Right.
So, because
Well, and I think that's a different question too that we've asked our bond councils. What happens if one says no? What does that mean for the other
well, and that's where
entities?
I would be hesitant on entering into any agreement without knowing everybody else's position. And I mean, right now we're thinking 7.9, right? And that's my number. Okay, got it. That's what
Right.
we're responsible for. If that were to change in any way, shape, or form after the fact, I'm gonna have a hard,
Well,
pill
John,
to
and the
swallow on that one.
7.9 is in addition to the commitments we've already made
Right.
for
But we don't have a choice at that point.
Yeah,
If we
it-
get
it's
to that
almost like we're
point,
having
we
a
don't
gun
have
to
a
our head on
choice. If they
this.
come up and say we want another $10 million, well, guess what? We're gonna have to
But
vote
that's
yes. We don't
James.
have a choice anymore.
Well, and James, that's why I'm mentioning that if we have that understanding that, we're not gonna be asked for more than that, before we enter into the agreements, obviously a lot of, paperwork and everything would be done beforehand, before we vote on it and actually take action on it. But Mr. Gage, you had something that you wanted to say?
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, it's a difficult issue to think through, right? And the reason why it's difficult, and I think Mr. Sherman's kind of, alluding to this, is that every member of the alliance is in a different position, right? Every single one of them. So we came together, we said we're going to do a project. Some are water poor. They need water very quickly right away. And then some, like in the boat we currently sit in, that we're okay. We have a very decent size inventory. And so, if you look just strictly at the dollar figures and not at the cooperative aspect that the alliance was formed by, they might lead you to a very self-interested decision. And so we have to balance both, the total membership, what the needs are for the group, and then think about what our effects would be for us, because if we would ever find, or if the bond council finds, or if another attorney finds that we would have to, if we disapproved, right, we would have to reduce future water supply, that would not be in our interest. That would actually be counter to our interest. And we would probably have to, the contracts are not written very clearly, and that's the reason why none of us has that answer today. And I've even, I beat Shan up significantly, and he's just like, listen, I'm not sure we can answer that. And so I think Graham's approach, I think the bond council is the appropriate attorney to answer it. And I think the sooner we get the bond counsel to answer that question, then we can put that question aside. But bond attorneys and general counsels are two different animals.
They take
They're
time.
two different areas of the law. And I think the bond counsel who wrote the dang contract in the first place is the proper person to give
And
us that
I'll say, we
judgment.
have an existing executive session. If we want to, I'm going to go ahead and say, let's add this to our executive session so we can ask our counsel who's here some specific legal questions and his on-the-spot opinion. He's madly jotting down notes so he can generate an opinion for me. But I'll say, let's finish Graham's presentation, and then we will also discuss this in Sherry and in executive session too. And John,
Graham-
Sherry's raising her hand over there. She's got something.
Oh, sorry. Yes, ma'am.
I know I'm way over here and y'all can't see me, but, so, so Green Valley's, just our portion of it alone is the 7.9. But what's Green Valley's portion of CRWA's portion of it?
That's the
That's it.
7.9.
That is the 7.9?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It's just the contract's written as a pass-through,
Ah.
so CRWA is just,
So that's our part of the 23 million?
That's
Okay.
correct. It's 34% roughly is Green Valley's share of CRWA's portion.
And you'll get an opinion back from the bond council when?
I will push for that in the first week of July. They've been working on it for a while. They're having to do a lot of work. It's not.
Yeah.
We're an unusual entity with a bunch of different sponsorships and then a sub agreement too that they're trying to look through to understand all.
When
the
they do give you that
implications.
opinion,
We
though,
will
can
share
you
it.
get it
Yes,
to Gage, and
yes.
Gage can get it to
Yes,
everybody
yeah,
else?
yeah, absolutely.
as soon as you can,
Yeah.
because
Of course.
we need to digest new information a little bit. This is an enormous, and I even made the comment in the workshop, some of the guys with San Marcos and Kyle and Buda were there, I told them, you're in bed with little guys, and some of the other SUDs are even smaller than us. And, while a little, $8 million of overage might be easily absorbed into a city budget, it is not easily absorbed into Green Valley's budget and the other smaller entities. So, we need
Yeah,
to know
I
the
mean,
answers
This
to
is
the
like giving
questions.
away 8% of our bonding capacity, in theory. So, and obviously we have a lot of other projects. Sorry. Right, okay. Well, say that again, one more time.
Unmute, Phil.
Gage,
Unmute.
no,
and
say that
what
one
you
more
just said.
time.
Oh, I was just going to say it won't affect bonding capacity. That's one of the good things. I mean, the bond, we prove up revenue for the bond, we sign a contract, but it's
Right.
not like out of our bond capacity.
Okay. So we true up the numbers on that end where we're not gonna be out. but we're still spending the money though.
And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
lastly,
we're obligated through a contract to pay for the water that we're receiving, and part of that is paying for the O&M, fixed cost, variable cost, and any debt service required, and
And
that's a
that-
contractual. That's
That's
how a water supply contract is.
right. And currently, because we are leasing out our current water inventory right now, would they be on the hook to also reimburse us for this? Would the city of Kyle, because we're currently leasing out our water inventory to them, would they be absorbing this expense as well?
Well, I mean, that's to be negotiated with Kyle and anyone else that we want to lease to. But I do have a meeting, this afternoon actually with the city of Kyle, and we're going to discuss, future opportunities with Arwa Water, so.
Right.
and John, I'll say lastly, I'm commenting about all these different workshops we're having and these, technical committee, we talk about it every time, the board meeting, we talk about it every time. I'm taking this very seriously. I'm paying very close attention to it, trying to be as educated as I can and ask the difficult questions. I'm generating an opinion, but at next month's meeting, I will be prepared to give you all my recommendation on what we should do. I'm not prepared to do that today, but I will have what I think this board should do at next month's meeting, taking it all into account after, a full 8 hours of running through it with the engineer. Prepared for the board.
All right. Sorry, Jerry. Yep.
I'm not sure if this question is appropriate for this discussion, but in the documents that I have, right now, we're getting 730 acre feet of our Phase 1 water. That leaves us not getting around 800. That's on schedule, allegedly, to be delivered by, what, April of next year? April of next year? Oh, sorry. So do you know offhand if we're on schedule to be getting that water as of April of next year?
I believe the water you're referencing is tied up in this expansion, and so it'd be October of
So it-
2028.
So it is tied into this project?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Last round of comments, questions, concerns. We're good. Graham, you have anything else?
No, sir.
Awesome. Gage, you're good.
On this morning.
Travis, Shan? All right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you for
Graham.
your
Thank
time
you
this
very
morning.
All right, going back to the agenda, we're gonna go to E2, Business and Operations. Mr. Gage, you have any updates?
Okay, so we're up to my memo, correct?
Yep.
Okay, I apologize for being late, team, this morning. I did make public comment at CVLGC, and we'll discuss that a little bit further, when we get to executive session. My memo is a little bit self-explanatory this month, so I'll only highlight one thing, is our rate study is going very well. I did show that to the Finance and Investment Committee. I did get some good ideas from them. The next shot at it, the next committee that's going to look at it is the Strategic Water Conservation Committee, which meets on the 30th next week. And I have some analysis to look at for that committee. And then we'll complete it. I basically have all the numbers and everything I need, and then it'll be up to the two committees take a swing at it. It'll be up to the executive committee when we actually agenda that for approval. It's tentatively slated for rates in July, but it's in the discretion of the executive committee when we set that on the agenda. So that's all I have to highlight on my memo today.
All right, does anybody have any questions, concerns for Mr. Gage? Nope, we're good. Thank you. Moving on. Item E2II, Operations Update. Travis.
Yes. I'll be taking over for Brian on this one this month. He left me a little bit of a high note summary to go over his information he provided you guys. But on the water side, we currently sit at 20,152 meters within the district. Meters installed for May were low at only 54 a month, 54 for that month. He did say in his statement, he said that is low. He said, but historically there's 1 or 2 months that are low, but we catch up throughout the year on those numbers. As for water production, the district produced a total of 530.91 acre feet in May. Well 4 is currently down and was pulled and has been pulled for service. That well is our Trinity well, and once we get it back installed, we will begin to see an increase on our Trinity production. Current estimates are that we will be able to pump 900 900 gallons per minute, which is also double what we were producing beforehand. So those guys have been doing a pretty good job at trying to maximize production out there. I know Jack and his group have been working hard on that. We billed this month for a total of 491.49 acre feet, bringing the total just over 2.5 million in revenue. Known water loss accounted for was just 2.45 acre feet. The unknown water loss accounted for 36.97 acre feet, which could have brought in roughly $175,000 in revenue. That's all I have on the water side. On the wastewater side, wastewater connections increased by 26 in May. Clearwater Creek watershed added 1 connection. We'll continue to see those gradually grow, especially in the Clearwater Creek area as that system builds out. Billing remains consistent with nothing significant to report. The plant utilization at Santa Clara Creek is currently, through May, was 22.72%, approximately 170,500 gallons a day. The flow is a little high last month due to the recent rain. He put in his report here that we are working to identify some potential trouble spots and address them with the contractors, and are working through addressing the I&I. We've personally, I've been out to a couple of those spots, and we've identified some pretty heavy I&I points from older infrastructure. I say older infrastructure, our infrastructure's not that old, and we're working with the contractor and developer to alleviate a lot of that.
Are they easy solutions or?
Yeah, we'll say it's easy. The people that have to fix it won't say it's easy, but but yeah,
But in the grand
we've
scheme of
identified
things,
some
it's
leaks.
small
Yeah,
compared
leaks and
to-
cracks is
yeah.
basically what it is. But that's all I have for Brian's report. If you got any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll point in Brian's direction if I can't answer them right now.
Okay, tee up a good one. Somebody, get him.
I was going to say, let's ask him something he didn't know about.
I mean,
I will point out that our water loss was significantly down compared to last year. But I don't know if that's because of the rain helping us out or we're just getting better. So I tell Brian to take it as we're getting better.
Okay.
I think we also had some hydrant issues in the last year that
Yeah.
counted
Yes.
against our water loss that
Right.
wasn't really.
Well, that has subsided.
that
Yes.
has
Right, so
subsided.
we haven't had anything like that. But what's pretty strange is, we don't get a lot of rain, right? So it's harder to identify leaks. That's one thing. The other thing is, regarding what Travis is talking about the inflow and infiltration that we're seeing, it's in the upper part of our system. So it's up in the Cibolo Valley area where, we've not accepted that collection system yet. And this is good because we're working with the developer right now to camera between, manholes where we believe there's trouble areas, and they're going to get that repaired before we ever accept it. And it's good that we're doing this now. Because, if you catch I&I early and we figure out and we identify it now, that'll help us. Because as the plant gets larger, it's harder to identify where you're getting inflow. We're very sensitive right now because of the amount of flow we get, hydraulic loading, et cetera. But anyway,
all right, thank you. Moving on to, where did I lost my spot, sorry. E2 III Travis District Engineer Update.
I want to start off. I apologize on I put my report. I noticed yesterday when I put my report into the agenda, I did not add the memos from the two, from Garver and UEG that were provided this month. But if any of you want to look at the details in those, I'd be happy to share. But on the high level, we had 65 projects in design, 48 in construction, and 5 in closeout in May and June, totaling 118 projects currently active. On the capital improvement side, I had mentioned in my report, not much has changed since last month. The designs are kind of pushing forward on the ones that are in design, and we have deliverable dates coming up shortly on a couple of those. We've reached 100% on the Plant 9 improvements, but that's, that's at a standstill to a point that we're waiting for, to apply for the grant with the Texas Water Development Board. And then on the projects that are in construction, the Plant 3 and 8 generator project, we've kind of been through majority of the submittals. They were currently working on excavation of the site for the pads. They got a little hampered by rain, and which delayed them. But they're hoping to, as of today, or this week, they're hoping to have form work ready to go in the next couple weeks. And so, which shockingly for this time of year, or at least this year, it looks like we've got a little window here without rain that maybe we could get some stuff done. Other than that, I know the Lower Seguin and Green Valley Road is always a hot topic on the board to the left side or right side. So currently, right now, we're working through some surveying on that. Right-of-way acquisition will begin once we get surveying done and on both of those. And so scheduling wise, the surveying subcontractor is a little booked up, but they're trying to get out there as quickly as we can. Other than that, the only other topic I'd provided some progress pictures. It's not on the capital improvement side; it's more on the development side. But the Clearwater Creek wastewater treatment plant is going about as good as it can with the weather we've got right now. I know that they're doing site work and they've begun underground utility installation where they can. It's pretty wet out there, but we were able, myself and Mr. Gage went out there last Friday, and we were able to witness them putting in what I sent the picture here of it was 2 Fridays ago, of the electrical duct bank being installed. And so, but other than that, I don't have, we'll touch on the other capital improvement project I haven't mentioned is the 1.25, but of course we'll touch on that later this afternoon or this morning. So.
My only
So
question,
I would like to have one comment to his report. So when we talked about Plant 9 is 100% design, so next month, we're coming with a resolution for the board to submit our application for the grant to fully fund that project, right? So next, it'll be on the agenda next month. We'll be asking for your approval to apply for the grant. I mean, so that's how close we are to getting that moving up on Cibolo Valley Drive.
And one I will touch on too, it's not in my report, but we've been working through the new water modeling software, and that's also progressing well. We've been through our second in-person workshop, and we'll be doing a third call tomorrow, a virtual workshop. So I'm happy with the progress we're making, and that's going to be a pretty neat tool to have in-house.
The coming months, are you going to be able to do a presentation on that?
Yes, yeah, we can provide an update on that.
Just to kind of educate the board on how you guys use it and
Yeah,
kind of what's
absolutely.
behind it.
We're waiting for the kind of total build out before I bring it to you guys. I want kind of a finished product on the actual model for the whole system. And so, with staff and the consultant working together on that, it's a lot of information to gather. And so we're getting all that together, and they're starting to build it out. And so once we get it fully built out, I'll be happy to share that with you guys.
I can tell you, Travis won't say this, but, Greg Sabota's back here, right from Garver. His team is basically waterboarding our guys on this model. I mean, they work on it all day on the training, and it's something to look at because, I mean, they got Brian in there, Brian Plover, and Travis, of course, that understands models, but they're beating the hell out of them. They're learning a lot. It's a good process.
On the grant for what I like to call the James Hendricks Elevated Tower on Cibolo Valley Drive, once we submit for it, what is a typical turnaround time where we would expect to be awarded or not?
I don't know. We have that answer. I just don't know what it is. I mean, but this is.
I was really just looking for a way to say the James Hendricks Elevated Storage Tower.
I would think.
Well, we're putting
January.
James's name on it. I thought that was a direction.
January, February.
I'll confirm, but I thought it was later, fourth quarter of this year, where we could find out if we're going to get approved or not.
Yeah.
But I'll confirm that and follow up.
Because once we get the approval, at that point, the
We go to bid?
contractor's already been selected. No, we
Yeah.
already put it out for bid and all that. So all we need to do is get the funding and the letter of start and go.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
we're
design a
ready to go.
plaque.
This is a little bit uncharted territory for us because SUDs don't have a lot of opportunities for grants. And so, I mean, if we get it, it's going to be wonderful. I mean, but, we don't have a lot of experience with it.
Well, once we get that answer, whatever it decides, let's just pull the trigger and get it going. So,
Yes, sir.
Well, I've got to get in my one question about Lower Seguin.
Yes, sir.
Because people ask me, how far in off, and I think I've asked this question, how far in off the roadbed are you projecting that line to be, 20 or 30 feet?
So it'll be a 20-foot easement adjacent to the right of way. So the first 20 feet inside the property,
Okay.
and then the pipeline will sit, 5 feet off one of the edges, and
Yeah.
so we'll have room. The alignment will be 5 feet inside of that, not center line. So if we ever have to repair it or move it, we've got that larger corridor to work in.
Yeah, to work in, exactly. Yeah, because I know about once you get up to Fossteel Road, nobody's going to care, there's no crops.
Mhm.
But west of that, they're not going to want to talk to you about easement because the corn is 7 foot high and they don't want you to touch it now. But
Yeah,
by August, they won't care.
Yeah, my experience in the past, we've worked with farmers on trying to time out construction to where we're not disrupting crops and harvesting season, if that could work out for us.
And that one lady across the street from me has just kind of gone silent. She never came back to me and said, hey, I want to hear him. And so she hadn't called me, so I haven't called her.
Understood.
But I think it'll work out. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Did you? Oh, okay. Oh, great.
all
Yeah.
right. Moving on to item E3, CRWA Board of Trustees post-meeting updates. Mr. Sherman and Ms. McDaniel. Who's going first? Sherry?
It was a relatively short, uneventful meeting that did swear in 3 new trustees. They're supposed to have everybody sworn in by May, so they had to get that done by June. There really wasn't a lot that was discussed in regular or executive sessions.
Hey,
Whitney
Mr. Sherman?
Cass.
I'll add we had in the open session, it doesn't really apply to us because it's treatment plant that we don't participate in, the Hayes Caldwell plant, but we had a really healthy discussion regarding some equipment repair and replacement. I guess replacement is the proper term, and how it would be done and how it would be funded. And speaking to Mr. Gage after the meeting or the next day, we were in agreement that it was a proper, healthy discussion, how a board is supposed to operate, and we came to a final decision that generally everyone was happy with. The action passed unanimously. So sometimes we have to report that the board is not functioning fantastically, but in this particular case, it did. And, that's improvement, and I think it's worth noting. It didn't affect us because it's a plant that we don't receive water off of, but the board worked correctly, it appeared.
Questions, concerns? All right, moving on to item E4, CRWA Board of Managers post-meeting updates. Mr. Gage.
So very briefly on Board of Managers, I did produce a memo this past month because I was actually doing Green Valley business and I didn't get the memo in time. But Board of Managers continues at pace. We're doing the right things we need to. We wanted to review the repair projects, but the staff did not have that list prepared for us. I informed the trustees of that during the board meeting, which they did. The staff did have it for the trustee meeting, but the Board of Managers didn't have a chance to swing at that pitch ahead of time. But other than that, Board of Managers is functioning. I will tell the board that they have done some personnel movement around, and the operations manager now, the duties is being performed by Mr. Adam Telfar now. Adam is a A-level water license guy, been in Canyon Region for a while. Brian has a good relationship with them and the ops team, so we're hoping that that's going to be a good connection. So nothing else to report.
Questions, concerns? Nope. Moving on, item E5, ARWA Board Directors post-meeting updates.
We touched on this earlier with the executive director. The only other thing I'll add from the meeting was I was reappointed to the technical committee, which, as we politely say, does some of the heavy lifting in advance of the board meeting. It's a non-quorum of trustee or directors that look in detail at some more technical aspects of what what the plans are and what we're moving forward with. I'll continue to serve on that committee.
Moving on to E6, committee reports. Does anybody have any questions, concerns from the memos provided? Nope. Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to item F, discuss and the proposed transfer of certificate, CCN service area for the Marbach tract to Shirts. Mr. Gage and
Okay,
Shannon.
so I'll introduce this, and Travis and Shanna help me out. So there's a tract of land called the Monbach Tract, which is a total of 14 acres, correct?
A
Mul-
little less than that. I think it's just about, no, it is 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
So it's on the border between the Church CCN, the mapping is there in your packet, so I won't belabor that. It's on the boundary of our CCN with City of Shirts. The element that's going in there, we've discussed with the City of Shirts. It's a very small number of EDUs, which is a total of 4 total EDUs. We don't have water lines. It's significant in the area. It would cost more for us to provide water lines than it would to provide the 4 EDUs to this establishment. City of Shirts is willing to do it. It's been through the process with the city attorney of Shirts and also with Shan. The staff recommends approval. This is one of the tracks that is not valuable in terms of value to Green Valley because of the low number of service that we're going to provide and the high cost of providing it. And Shirts is amenable to it, so we're going to recommend that, the staff will recommend we approve this. The documents are in the board packet, and I think that covers it all, right?
Yeah, I'll just add, for location and what it is, it's about a half a mile to our closest distribution line. And Shirts' distribution line to serve the small property is right across the street from them.
The only final thing I'd add is there is a current CCN line that goes through the middle of one of those tracks. So 10 or 4 or 5 of the 15 acres are already in the Shirts Water CCN.
And the valuation on this one, there are no dollar movements on this, or it's just? a
No, we
straight
negotiated a
engineering?
no value for this, and there's a number of reasons for that. Number one, it doesn't have a lot of value in terms of revenue projection, but also it's ultimately cooperation with the city of Shirts for future agreements that we have with them.
Okay.
I would say if our partners over at Shirts can serve it and they have a water line nearby and they have a desire to serve it, it would be difficult for us to do it. There's no point in,
I'm happy to do this for
Fighting.
the parties that treat us right and, are good neighbors to us. So with that, do I have a motion or any other discussions, questions? No? All right, so I'll take a motion then.
Okay, I'll take a whack at it. I'll make a motion to approve the water CCN transfer to Shirts for the Marbach tract.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Robertson, a second by Mr. King. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Serve it well, Shirts. All right, moving on to, we already did G, moving on to H, consideration and possible action related to NSSA's Prairie Hill RV Park and Stagecoach MH RV Park. So there's 2, construction committee, have y'all reviewed and made an opinion on it?
the committee recommended approval for both of these. I apologize, I messed up my notes and didn't get them saved and in the packet, but no, both these items we did discuss in the committee, and the committee and staff recommend approval.
Okay, staff, you're good with it too?
Yes,
Everybody's
sir.
across the board?
We've checked that we meet all the recommendations, and staff recommends approval too.
All right, does anybody have any questions, concerns? Nope, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve one at a time, Shan, or can I do them both together? I'll make a motion that we approve the non-standard service agreements for items H1 and H2.
I have a motion by Mr. Sherman.
Second.
I have a second by Ms. McDaniel. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to item I, hear updates on the items below from GVC General Counsel, pending threatened litigation and legal challenges affecting the district. Shan.
In addition to the listed matter for Vision Capital, I have one more item in in legal issues to take into executive session regarding service agreement requests by developers.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, so right now it's 10:05. We're gonna take, say, a 10-minute break, and then we'll enter into executive session to discuss items G. Get some opinions from Shan on that one. We'll take items I, and then J, K, and L. Under Texas Government Code Section 551.071, 551.074, and 551.076. Time now is 10:06. Thank you.
Chop, chop. Oh, look, it's Brian.
Don't look so tore up.
We tried to ask him every question we thought he didn't know the answer to.
Test, test.
Bob went to the restroom.
Start clapping. Slow clap. Brian, what'd you think of the meeting? All right, we're coming back into open session. Time is 11:31. We have Mr. Sherman coming down to the Price is Right. All right, thank you. All right, so we took some matters into executive session. We came out. We're moving on to item M, consideration and possible action on items discussed in executive session. I believe Ms. McDaniel has a motion.
I move to authorize the general manager and council to send a letter of intent regarding the Cibolo Valley LGC assets to the cities of Cibolo, Schertz, and Cibolo Valley LGC governing bodies.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. McDaniel, a second by Mr. King. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. I don't believe any other matters need to be voted on, correct? Shan, Gage? All right. Moving on to item N, consideration of proposed items to be included in next month's board meeting agenda. No one has anything, get with Gage if you do. Moving on to item O, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, what is it? All right, all right. Ayes have it. All right, here we go. Done. Time is 11:32. Thank you.
Just for fun.